We are ready to start our first project in English 122, which is a peer-reviewed article assessment. So for this short assignment, we're only going to be spending a couple weeks on it. You are going to look for a peer-reviewed article, something having to do with literature, and all I'm asking you to do is annotate the article, write a brief summary, and a reflection about the article. So this project is just getting us more familiar with the library system, what peer-reviewed articles are, how to search for them, how to read them. I don't remember actually reading peer-reviewed articles until graduate school, but I know that this is happening more and more. And so I want you to be well informed about what peer-reviewed articles are, and they do kind of seem to take a different style of reading approach. So this is going to guide you through some exercises in how to be a better reader, especially regarding peer-reviewed articles. So I'm on the course syllabus right now, and I'm going to go to Project 1, Peer-Reviewed Articles, and this is our assignment sheet. So the assignment summary just explains that you're going to benefit from exposure to peer-reviewed art journals and scholarly work in the field of literature. In research, writers include what's called a literature review, where they discuss other literature pertaining to the topic of research. This is basically just to explain the relevance of this assignment. So this assignment is the beginning stages of a literature review, where the reader reads peer-reviewed articles, summarizes, and responds to the text regarding their research. So for this assignment, you are going to find a peer-reviewed literary journal article. Exercise your close reading in this. So again, if you go back to the module section on the top, there are student resources and there's a guide to close reading. It takes you through reading the text multiple times, looking at different things and different aspects of the reading while you're reading the text. And so you are going to annotate that. That's part of the close reading process. You will submit your text with annotations, and I'll explain how to do that. And then you're going to write a brief summary and a brief response. So your summary should only be about 200 to 300 words, and your reflection can be a little bit more, about 300 to 500. Please try to stay within this range. Summaries should not be too extensive because really what you're doing is trying to condense the information into a quick synopsis so that when you're going back to your literature, you remember which article was which. So the idea of a summary is really to stay brief. So I would like you to try to stay within that 200 or 300 words. If you turn in something that's 500 words, I'm going to ask you to go back and revise it and cut that down. Your reflection can be a little bit longer. Again, anywhere between that 300 to 500 word range, I will accept. If it's a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, I might ask you to revise that. So try to keep within that range, please. On the right side, we go over the learning process. These are the steps that you're going to be taking throughout this project. Again, this is about a 2-week project, so you'll be doing this over the course of the 2 weeks. You'll look for the peer-reviewed article, annotate the article, write a summary, reflection, and then here's some kind of guiding questions to help you with your summary and reflection construction. So the first step that you're going to do is choose your text. And there is another video in Canvas about how to use the OneSearch feature in the library. So take a look at that video if you're not familiar with this, but I highly recommend that you use the OneSearch program to look for peer-reviewed articles. And I would recommend you try to narrow down your search. So if you just search for literature, and I discussed that here, you're going to find a huge collection of articles. And so you kind of want to try to cut that down and be more specific. So think about maybe what types of literature you're interested in, what forms of literature you might be interested in. Think about kind of some of the lecture information we've gone into. So for me, for example, from coming from an education background and being a mom of 4 young kids, I am really interested in children's literature and looking at that in a more analytical way as an adult and kind of looking for deeper themes and meanings within children's literature. So that's an interest of mine. And one course that I took in my literature program at San Diego State was Gothic children's literature. And I thought that was really interesting. I said, Gothic literature, how does that apply to kids? Well, actually, there's a lot. So anything having to do with vampires or monsters, and we're seeing a lot more of this coming through in children's literature in the last decade. And so that's just really interesting to me to look into how we write and read and interact with Gothic children's literature. So that might be something I would go to OneSearch and look through articles on Gothic children's literature and see what I can find there. Once I find an article, and some of these articles are longer and some are shorter, I'm going to close read that text and annotate while I'm reading. So the OneSearch feature at the library allows you to download this. And so once you download it, you can either print it and hand annotate, with a highlighter and pencil, or you can digitally annotate. It's up to you. But I am looking for annotating tools. So I would like to see underlines and highlights and notes in the margins, and that you're really interacting with the text. And so when you're doing your annotations, you should identify these right here, such as who's making the argument, the intended audience, any counter arguments that might come in. So look specifically at these 6 bullet points while you're annotating, but you're also looking for, terms or phrases that stand out to you, any literary devices you identify being analyzed, and such. So anything that's standing out to you, you can annotate throughout your reading. So you're actually going to submit these annotated articles on Canvas. And so there are 2 ways you can do that. You can either, if it's digital, you can just save it and upload it as a PDF, and I will see your annotations there. Or if you printed it and hand annotated the text, you can either use, if you have an iPhone, the Notes app has a scan feature. And so you can scan the document and turn it into a PDF, or you can just take pictures of it with your phone and upload those. So if you have a 17-page article, I don't necessarily want to see 17 pictures uploaded. That's a little bit difficult to navigate. So my preference is if you can streamline them into one document. If you don't know how to do that, that's okay. I will look through 17 pictures, but or maybe you have 2 pages at a time that you can include in a picture. That's fine with me. Okay, once you have read the article, annotated it, then you're going to summarize the article. So these articles that you're going to be reading are discussions of literature. So some of them might discuss one specific book or movie or song, one specific form of literature, and some might mention several forms of literature and several pieces. This is not a summary of a piece of literature. So I want to make that clear. You are not looking at the book that the author discussed and summarizing the book. That's not what we're doing. We are summarizing the article that you read. So this peer-reviewed article, typically published in journals, what did the writer of that say in their article? So that's what we're looking for. Again, you want to look at kind of some of the expectations of your summary. You should include the title, author, and the journal of publication early on in your introduction or in your first couple sentences of your summary. Try to stay within 200, 300 words. Please submit this in MLA format. And you want this to be written in your own words, which means you're not quoting things, you're not copying and pasting sections of the text, you're really just retelling it. So imagine you are talking to a friend and they say, hey, what was that article about that you read? You wouldn't read them the article and say, oh, let me quote the article to you. No, you would just discuss what information was presented in the article. And that's what your summary is going to have. Discuss the general topic, the author's research, question, or argument, and key points in the article and how they supported their thesis. The next thing that you're going to develop is a reflection to the article. So typically in these articles, the writer is making some kind of an argument about literature or presenting some kind of an opinion, and then they're supporting their opinion. So what do you think about their opinion? Do you agree with what they noticed in the text? Do you feel like it's that the author used enough evidence to support their claim? Do you feel that the author may be off in their literary analysis? And so just discuss your personal thoughts. You can use the word I, you should. These are your personal thoughts. And you can include one or two quotes, but you don't have to. You can just paraphrase them if you'd like. Paraphrase the quote from the article. Either way, if you use a direct quote or you paraphrase, make sure that you're using parenthetical citations in MLA format either way. These can be on one document. You don't need to have a summary on one document and reflection on the other. They can be on the same document. Just please make sure you have a heading that says summary and then another heading that says reflection, because your summary might be multiple paragraphs and your reflection may be multiple paragraphs. At the end of this, I think this is a 2-week project. So at the end of those 2 weeks, you will submit your final draft, and that will include your annotated article. Again, it could be a digital file or it could be pictures, but ideally one document. And then you'll upload another document with your summary and reflection. It is possible on Canvas to upload more than one document at a time. So try to submit both of them at once if you can. And then make sure that your summary and reflection is an MLA format with a header, heading, double space, 12-point font, all those things, and that you include a works cited page. You will not be utilizing outside research. You will only have your article that you are analyzing on your works cited page. So it'll just be one entry. There's no need to look for outside sources in this assignment, so it should just have your one source on your works cited page. A couple reminders here just to make sure that you're checking those before you submit. And then you will submit your final draft on Canvas. I do not accept submissions online through email, so please make sure that you are submitting this assignment through Canvas.